Hello everyone, I am Bradley Sward, and this is my solution to day 7 of the Advent of Code 2023 competition. I'm using C++ today. The problem is called Camel cards. Let's get to the problem. It's something I know sort of well. It's been a few years since I've worked with playing cards and casino industry stuff, but basically we're dealing with poker today. So we have camel cards, and we need to sort out all of these like this. We need to set it. We need to sort all of these hands from lowest to highest. Basically, basically figuring it all out. And the first tiebreaker is basically just normal hands: five of a kind, four of a kind, full house, three of a kind, two pair, one pair, high card. And the second would be basically going card for card through, comparing the two cards and just seeing which one is greater than the other on a card by card basis until we basically, and if we get to the end, they have to be the same hand. But again, you probably have already looked through this and you probably already have that understanding. So for part one here, you could see that everything kind of ranks itself out, and then you multiply the bet value times its rank number, add them all together, and you get, in this case, 6,440 for the sample set. But in my data set, I have 1,000 hands I need to sort. So let me show you how I did part one here in C++. So there it is. So here is a bunch of stuff going on here. So I'm using a structure for my hand. I have the string itself and the bet. And then when I'm going to sort these things, you can see I have a really complicated sort function. And for the life of me, it's a little hacky, but I get it. It gets the job done here. But basically, we start off by checking matches. That's how we can determine all, since we're not dealing with straights. They were very nice of us not to give us straights for anything like that. We can basically just compare basically all the cards against each other. And if it's five of a kind, there'll be 10 matches. And if it's four of a kind, it'll be 6 matches, and so forth and so on. It's a unique number for each of the different types of card hands that you can have. So at the end of the day here, if there's a different match number, then we know that one or the other one is a winner. But otherwise, we have to go through one by one by one by one through the cards and see which one is the greater one card for card. And I guess at the end of the day, if you don't find it, if you don't find a winner, then just pick either one of them. It doesn't much matter which one. But the hard part was here that you have two through 9, and then 10, Jack, Queen, King, and Ace. And you just have to make sure that you find the card, basically the index value in here, because you're trying to sort by who has the larger card, from the first card to the second card to the third card and the fourth card and so on. And so basically that's the custom sort function that uses this matches as its the first differential, and then this is the second differential to get the job done. But the code itself isn't that hard once you have that going on here. So I get my file, I get my data set, I get everything into my vector of structures, and then I sort by this custom sort function, and then I just basically go through and I just basically multiply the index value, or where it is in the list basically, versus the bet that was made, sum it all up. And so in this case, for part one, when I run this, I get this kind of cool stuff here, and it prints out, and I get this large number that ends in 244, and you can see that here I get something that ends in 244. So part one is complete, so let's look at part two just now. Okay, and so for part two, everything is the same, except now we're introducing joker cards. Joker cards, incidentally, are the weakest cards of the batch. So they go before the 2 in the order, so the ace is on the one side and the joker's on the other. But now the joker can change the individual hands. And so I've never actually done anything like this. Usually everything was done automatically. Someone years ago had written the code for that, and we just kind of worked with it with the card hands and things like that. But I think it's pretty interesting because I've never really actually worked with it. So now jokers will turn this guy here. This is a pair into a four of a kind, and so forth and so on. And so now you just have to kind of think everything out and either map it or however you want to think of it. You just kind of have to think it out. Let me just kind of reiterate what I did in part one here. And here's the code. But let's just talk it out, and you can kind of get a feel for what's happening. If you have a card, if you have basically like high card or whatever, or just basically nothing, then you would have 5 individual cards and nothing would be a match. There'd be 0 matches. If you had a pair, you would have 1 match. A and A would match up. And don't worry, again, don't worry about the second part of this. Just worry about how many matches there are. So if you have a 2 pair, there's 2 total matches. A and A matches up, B and B matches up. And a 3 of a kind, A and A, A and A, A and A. There's 3 matches. And then a full house has 4, the 4 of a kind has 6, and the 5 of a kind has 10. So now, if you don't have any jokers at all, you're done. The code is exactly the same as above here. And actually, I just added how many jokers do I have as I did this. So how many, basically, what do I have, but then how many jokers are part of this? And so now coming through this, and say if I do have a joker, and I do have nothing, well, one of these needs to be a joker, so now I have a pair. And if I have, like this guy here, if I have a pair and then one of these guys is a joker, well, then now I have 3 of a kind. And then if I do the same thing where I have, okay, now I have 2 pair and I have this, well, now it's a full house because now it becomes one or the other. And if I have this one, now this becomes 4 of a kind. And now this one can't be done because there's, if there's only one joker, you see that there's 2 of one card and 3 of another. There's no place here where I have 1 joker, so that would stay a 4. And in this case, this guy has to become a 5 of a kind, and this stays of a 5 of a kind. So that's how I reduce these values down. And so for part 2 here, it's the same idea. If I have nothing, well, there can't be 2 jokers because then it would be a pair, so that 0 stays a 0. And then for this guy, well, the A and the A has to be the jokers. So then now we have 3 of a kind. And like for here, now this becomes 4 of a kind. This isn't possible since there's no 2 jokers to be found. This needs to become a 5 of a kind. This can't be done, and this stays 5 of a kind. And that's where you get these numbers. You can see how the numbers change as I manipulate them. And now with 3 jokers, I go can't change, can't change, can't change. Now this becomes 4 of a kind. Can't change, can't change, can't, 4 of a kind. And then now this becomes 5 of a kind. This can't be done, and this can't be done either. So those values stay the same. And now for 4 jokers, you say can't be done, can't be done, can't be done, can't be done, can't be done. And this 6 becomes a 10, and everything else stays exactly what it was. And if you have 5 jokers, well, it's all, that's the only way it goes is that you have a 10. So when you run this for part 2 now, and then putting the joker in front here for tie hands. And let me just change this to part 2 just to feel better about this. Oops, I don't know what just happened here. I don't know what's going on with my code. And I run this now. This will work its way down, and you can see that I have, oops, I didn't mean to, where did it go? Where did my code go? Where did it go? Oh, am I running it in debug? Oh, I'm running in debug mode. Oh, I must have pressed a key or something. Oh, what did I do? I don't know what happened. So I get a value of, where did it go? One more time. This number here that ends in 440, and when I figure this out here, you can see that I get the number of 440. So again, not necessarily proud of the code. I know what I'm trying to do. I know I would set up maps, and I could definitely work this out and make this prettier, but I got the job done. I got my 2 gold stars, and I did this pretty darn good. Where am I on the leaderboard here for this one? Or today, my personal time for this one? Not too bad. 3,000th place. I'm not rushing these things. I'm enjoying the time that I'm spending on this, and I hope you guys are too, and not taking the competition way too seriously. Well, except for the 100 or so people who are taking it very seriously. Well, I really did enjoy this problem. I hope you guys did too. Hope it helped you out. Hope that, if you needed help with that sort of thing. And I will see you in future videos. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great morning. We'll see you then. Take care. Goodbye.